Y'all asked how much I cut out of the car. This is it. Since we're here and we're on the subject of buckets, and y'all know how much I love buckets, here's your bucket episode. Big and small. This is all that's cut out of the car. I wanted to keep all the chips because I think that I want to do something really cool with them, like making little keychains and stuff, doodads, you know. We are gonna use some of these buckets for Scrap Alley. I'm trying to clean up the shop even more. I am hella getting into glass, like very, very quickly, because I wanna fill these wing windows on the car with stained glass. And so of course, in order to do that, I have to practice. And in order to practice, you have to have a space to do it. So we're gonna clean up a little bit and get some things started. First thing we're gonna do with the buckets is organize and clean up this space. Before this, we had to clean out all of this to get here. Bucketing's going great. Step number 1, organize your life. Who needs that many pipe wrenches? That's a whole bucket of pipe wrenches. I got a water jet, and the reason why it's important to have glass in here is because, like I said, I want to add it to the car. And in order to add it to the car, I have to practice. I'm obsessed with this machine. Number 1, I've never done glass before. I did take a class, and she essentially kicked me out of the class. And so she's taking me under her wing to do classes one-on-one, and I still haven't taken a second class. I've only taken 1 class, and basically this is where we're at. And in the car wing windows, I have this idea of putting crosses inside the glass with no cuts. So basically it'll just be like inserted into the glass. So that's why it's important to clean up the space, because practice makes perfect, but you'll have to let me know what you think. We have already used some of the buckets to clean up this space, and of course my vintage Snap-on toolbox that y'all saw in my shop tour video. We filled up about 4 more buckets to go out there. And since we already did that, we're gonna use the smaller buckets to kind of clean up this area. I have this really nice wall, and I really need a spot to like hang tools in. So I thought about hanging the mini buckets like this, going all the way up. All my little brushes. Little brushes. Okay, next one. Okay. Look at me. Let's do 1 more. That planned out exactly what I thought it was gonna be. That is gonna be enough room for 4 of them. There. Put my glasses there. All right, now we could use a few of these for glass as well, since we're here. Okay, let's look at all this glass. Has like little perfect little buckets. Oop, I almost cut myself. How nice is this that while I am cutting glass, I have these amazing little buckets to hold all my little scrap pieces. I'm all about organization. So let's go see what else we can do with buckets. I'm so glad we cleaned out that toolbox. That toolbox is like 10 years in the making of cleaning. There's also a lot of things that I don't even know what they're for. Like, why do I even have them? But I can't throw them away, so we put them in buckets and make something with it later. Look at all these buckets. So many buckets. We're taking the buckets outside now into the garden world, and if you follow me, plants are everything in the world to me. I had a whole room in every house I've lived in dedicated to plants. I have so much space to fill, and everything grows outside versus like West Texas where nothing grows outside. So we're gonna create a greenhouse, a mini greenhouse out of a bucket, which is gonna basically be cutting a bucket in half, drilling holes in it, filling it with some dirt, and putting press and seal on the top. I have all these seeds that I collected from our cantaloupes. What you'll need is one of these. We'll get my hair out of the way, put some safety glasses on, because you know those make me look really cool. Now, this does not have to be perfect. Like, the line does not have to be perfect. Yowie. Just discombobulated. All right, let's put it up. Hair is going up. Okay, now let's try this again. There goes my hair again. I don't have a hair tie.
Use a mini bucket.
Okay, what we're gonna do with these is we're gonna put it just like this in the ground, some holes in it, just so it can drain good. Okay, now that we got some holes, let's go find a permanent spot for these. It's gotta be somewhere where we can get some sun. Do it right here. So we're gonna drill a hole here, one down at the bottom, and one right here on the side. One on the bottom, one on the side. You're gonna put them together, close it up. It does not have to be lined up perfectly. It's not that big of a deal if it's not. Remember, it's just a mini greenhouse. When it's together like this, you're gonna fill the bottom of this with dirt. I am going to make 2 rows, so that way I have lots of little babies, because you don't want to cover them up all the way. I don't care what anybody says, you don't cover them up all the way. We'll check on these in like 2 weeks. Now we're gonna need to put a little bit of water on this. Hold. I know what you're thinking. Why don't I just take my water hose over there? That kind of defeats the purpose of having a whole video about buckets, right? Transporting water is another use for buckets. And then we're gonna make sure it's nice and flat. We're gonna just cover this with press and seal. So it essentially will act as a greenhouse. This is the easiest, cheapest, most efficient way to build planting station for your cantaloupe. Now, another use for a bucket is to cut it in half and turn it into a greenhouse. So we're gonna let this sit. We wanna see what grows and what doesn't without having to do all the work of building a bigger patch. So let's keep moving. I have a lot of really cool stuff that I got from the nursery today. And sometimes animals get in from underneath to eat the plants, especially like rooted vegetables like beets and carrots and onions and those kinds of things. So to try to prevent that from happening, buckets are gonna come in handy. If you could cut these in half, hair tie. I don't think we've changed the blade on this thing since we cut the Mustang in half, have we? No wonder why it's so dull. You know the routine. You know what else you can use buckets for? For dirt. So we're gonna fill this bucket up with dirt. Now, let's go do some planting. I Love buckets. Can we just take a look and appreciate my strawberries over here? That's all me, baby. We're gonna fill these with potting soil and we're gonna plant some beets, and I do have some sage here which I've been wanting to plant anyways, and so I'm gonna put that one in the back bucket that's open on the bottom because I want it to grow into the ground. Let's do it. In a few days, this whole little section will be full of buckets. It'll be really cool. My beets didn't do very well last year because they kept getting eaten. Not anymore. Now, sage. As somebody that's getting into gardening or getting into plants, just know that it is as simple as putting it into the ground and just letting nature do its thing. I don't think I've ever fertilized. I water with rainwater and water, and you know, just good soil helps too. But look at these strawberries. I mean, this is from planting in the ground and just letting nature take its course, you know? So don't feel like there's a lot of pressure and rules. It's kind of like art. There's not a whole lot of rules here. It grows, it grows. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Isn't life kind of like that? Sometimes things grow and sometimes they don't. In this case, we really want them to grow, so we're gonna keep going. All right, we're gonna fill this one up. All my little rooted vegetables will go in here. Cool. Okay, I have a bunch of these little buckets as well, and a bunch of things that need to be propagated. So we're gonna use some of those buckets for propagating, especially because the weather is so nice and summer's moving in. Why not fill my house with even more plants? More drilling. When somebody say this is an impact, what is the difference? What is the difference? It drills. Drill. Whether the capacity is more or less, they're both drills. Drilling. Watch. Drill. See? Drilling. It's a cool thing. These have, you know, these little handles so we can go put them on stuff. Okay, we have 4 of them. Let's go cut some things to propagate. Here we have one of these. Let's put this guy in there. Let's get another one. Some little tequila plants that could be used for propagation. So let's propagate that one. What do I do with that other little one? I just had it in my hand. You stepped on it! You were stepping on it! You had your whole foot covering, owie, covering this whole thing. Okay, there's 2 things. Look at my Susan! Look, it's going up. Evan and I's favorite plant around here is the black-eyed Susans. Last year we got one right before summer hit, and we planted it right over here, and it took over our whole porch. So what did we do this year? We bought 100 of them. We put them everywhere. And look at it. It's vining up the house already. Where else can we propagate? Something here. I think I have some aloe right here. Okay, let's plant them. You can literally shove plants into the ground and they will grow. Cool. All right, let's find creative spots to hang these. Let's do one right here. Subtle vine there. One. There we go. Look. I love treasures, as you can see. I collect a little bit of everything. Okay. Now, everybody has different uses for buckets, from scrap alley, organization in the shop, planting. I bet you didn't know that you can use buckets as much as you could. This last use for buckets is something I think everybody kind of uses buckets for. And this one's going to require a lot of buckets. A lot of buckets. And that's going to be ripping out the walls of this 1955 Spartan. So while I fill up these buckets, y'all get your butts outside, enjoy the fresh air, and plant some things. You're welcome.